Alright, welcome everybody. This is going to be my final video. This is going to be a public video. Hopefully my intention is that not only will we get an overview of the website that our team has created, but you can point to this video in the future during interviews or presentations of work that you have done and things that you have worked on, either with potential or current employers. And that's why it's going to be a public video. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the website that our team has created, the Purple team, for Capstone at Columbus State Community College. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through this whole website. It's not going to be super in-depth with regards to the code and everything. I'm just going to show off the features, and I'm going to talk about how we got things up and running. We're also going to take a look at the database at the end. Again, it's not going to be super in-depth. I'm just going to go into an overview basically. So this first page is our home page. This is the landing page. This is what pulls up when you first reach our website. Nothing much to this as far as the content. It's all hard-coded HTML with CSS styling. Before I continue, I will say that I'm very proud of my team. They really went above and beyond in terms of getting extra things onto this website that I'm probably not going to go into that greatly. Things like, this little icon right up here at the top, these, getting the shopping cart and the cart counter, getting the footer and everything on the footer. I mean, the team really put in a lot of extra work, and I just have to say I'm very appreciative of that. So getting back on track, this is all just hard-coded HTML, CSS styling. It's the same thing for our fact page. It's all styled. It's HTML hard-coded. There's nothing really much to it. And it's the same for the Contact Us page. And all this is just fake information. This is a simulated site. I mean, it's a live site, but it's not meant to actually be used by people. This is for our class. But obviously we can see that, this stuff, we were able to fairly easily put all this stuff in. So moving on, whenever actually before I get into the login pages, let's talk about this nav bar at the top. This is a pretty good piece of work. It uses some CSS styling, so basically whenever you hover over the buttons, they change to white. On the right side, the buttons hover as blue, and we did that to highlight that these are of a higher priority in terms of importance. And then if you click on any of the buttons, the page it's an active, basically it's an active category, and it has this active category color of beige, just to show you what page you're on currently. And the way that we actually set up this nav bar is, this is actually two nav bars layered on top of each other. You have a left nav bar and then a right nav bar. And we did that so that we could put this blue in there to kind of highlight the higher priority of the login pages. And to a regular customer, as you can see, there's no transition, there's no change between those. We plan to have this nice big empty space, so it's okay that we have layered nav bars, because as you can see, it looks exactly like a single piece. So you click on any of these, you get the hover, you get the active. Going into the login buttons, we have an employee and just a regular customer login pair of pages. We do have a forgot your password, but because we don't have a mail server, it doesn't actually work. Normally you would have a mail server that would, you'd have an input field maybe, and you'd say, this is my username or this is my email, please send me an email to reset my password, and a mail server would automatically generate an email with the temporary password for you to reset your account, right? But because we don't have a mail server or anything like that, this is just something for us to have a little bit of fun. Gotta have fun while you're working, right? Anyway, to keep going, Username, password, these are both using prepared SQL statements that prevent SQL injection attacks, at least in their current state. And I say that because, there's no such thing as perfect security. Attacks will evolve, and our methods to prevent them are going to have to evolve with them. We can't continue to use the same things over and over and over and expect them to always work. So for the current method of SQL injection, the prepared statements work. They prevent those. The Remember Me token works. It uses a cookie. That cookie is protected with HTTP only to prevent JavaScript and cross-site scripting attacks. And it also uses SSL encryption. Now I know that SSL is crappy security, but this site is hosted through AWS. And for whatever reason, AWS does not allow TLS, which is an enhanced security encryption method. So we have to stick with what we can get our hands on. Crappy security is still better than no security, so the cookie does use SSL. A dedicated attacker can and will break SSL though. So we hash the password. The password is stored in the database as a hash. It's not plain text. And as you can see now, we don't have those login buttons anymore. We have a logout button and a welcome message. So if I click that, I get my login buttons again. And that's the same for any of these pages. Like if I were to go to my fact page and click log out, it takes me back to the main page. Now one of the things that I wanted to highlight is this empty space right here. Some of you may have noticed that earlier. This is for a reason. A regular customer or a regular guest should not be able to see the things that are here. Those are employee tools. So obviously those are going to be pages that use employee credentials to get there, because you can change things on our website with these pages, like our add item. You can add things to our menu with this page. We don't want regular customers to be able to add stuff to our menu. Only employees. Additionally, these pages, these 4 pages here, are protected with automatic redirects, so that if you're not logged in as an employee, you're going to get automatically redirected back to the home page. So this is add item. Let me see. I'm going to demonstrate that now. Just log out. We're going to do add item, and it takes me back to the home page. That's by design, because attackers can and will spider your website as a part of their footprinting phase. So they'll learn what all the different pages in your site are, and if they're not protected, those pages, they can just put the URL and the extension in and have access to your pages. So we do have protection on these pages. Okay, so here we have our add item menu. This is where we just add things to the menu, right? Pretty easy. So let's say I add coffee. It's coffee. Just give it a generic description. Coffee description. We'll give it a SKU. I'm going to leave the price blank so that we can see how we handle errors, and also how we can show that that it keeps the information that we're entering in. And we'll say 6064 product inventory. So it'll give us an error code. Sorry about my mouse, it's a little bit screwy. So it'll give us an error code right here. You'll also notice that it keeps both of the inputs, all of the inputs, and God, this mouse, as well as our radio button selections that we had selected when we initially put in all the information, right? So, get tired of this mouse. And we can see that, for any of these input fields, let's say $5, and we're going to change this to a small. So now we have an error code for the name, but it kept the product price and the small radio button selection. I am going to pause my video for just a second while I fix my mouse. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully my mouse will be functioning a little bit better. Let's see. Alright, so moving on, we go into the update item. Okay, hopefully I have solved my mouse problem, or at least made it more tolerable. Anyway, The update item, very simple to start out. We just have a search bar. It does search by partial match, so if I put in COF, I get all my coffees. If I put in just C, I will get coffees and cappuccinos and anything that has a C in it, really. So you can see we get lots of these. Now on this page you can see all the information related to any particular product. So between these two, they look the same until you get down to the category. This is iced, this is hot, this has 1 in our inventory, this has 50, right? So you see the SKU, the description, price, all this, the good information. So if we click edit, it shows us what we're editing, just in case. It also auto-populates all of the information, right? So if I wanted to make this hot drinks, I would select that. Or frozen drinks, you know, whichever. I select the radio button, I can edit the price, the SKU, the description, so on and so forth, and also edit the inventory, make it 49. And as you can see, we get messages depending on whether or not we have successfully updated. And you can see the actual update as it would appear in the menu minus the inventory, category, and SKU. This is for employee use only. These 3 products right here, or not products, but rows right here. Right. So that's how update works. And just to show an error message, let's see, what kind of error message could we show? Let's show what would happen if. So we get an error message that either the description or the SKU is already in use, so it did not change the description the way we wanted to. Okay. Finally, going over to the register employee page. This is also this is also a protected page. Here we have 5 input fields. You have to follow certain criteria for the username and the password, and your email addresses must be valid. So for a username, let's say I don't know, Daniel. Oh, that's right, because we only allow lowercase, so I can't put in uppercase. As much as I try to mash in that Shift D, it gives me nothing. We also cannot put in numbers or special characters. And we cannot put in spaces, so only lowercase characters. So Daniel Radcliffe. I don't know if that's how you spell it. Radcliffe. Maybe? Is that it? So Daniel Radcliffe will have a password. I'm going to keep my password simple so that we can see how the error messaging works. So I'm going to say Harry Potter, uppercase H, uppercase P, Harry Potter. Give him an email, hpotter@email.com, and his first name would be Harry. So we register, except password did not meet the requirements. We have to enter a valid password. So enter a valid password. We're going to give it a number and a special character, and then this time we're just going to give it a number to show how we get a different error message. The passwords don't match. Okay, so now we're going to give them a special character, except this time we are going to change the email address to show that we must have a valid email. Okay. And then finally, if everything works as it should, latte, to give it a company email, we should get a new employee. And now that we have successfully registered a new employee, the input fields do clear, whereas previously they would keep the previous information just for ease of use. And then finally, when it comes to registering, if you don't have an account as a customer, you can register here. All the same constraints apply as they did with employee login. So lowercase characters only, no spaces when it comes to passwords, also no quotation marks, just because we don't want to put quotation marks in passwords. We don't generally want to put quotation marks in a lot of things, not everything, but a lot of things, because that helps to avoid SQL injection attacks. Now I will say that these passwords are hashed before they're stored in the database. They're salted and hashed, so that's a good thing. And then, your password has to match. You have to have a valid email and, first name. So now let's take a look at the menu. Here's our menu. And the first thing you see when you get to the menu is that we have these categories, this categories drop-down box. The categories will sort things according to what category we have selected. So as you can see, instead of coffee, I now have the Frozos. The food items do display at the bottom no matter what category we have selected, because that drop-down box is only for drink items, right? So, little snacks at the bottom, whereas, let's say we wanted hot chocolate, now we can get the 2 hot chocolates that we have in our menu. All items have a quantity box in case you want to order more than one. The reason for that is because we have lots of different options on hot and iced drinks, right? So every time you do something like this, you have all these different options that you've selected. You don't want to have to do that every single time. A, you're going to forget, and then B, you're going to lose a lot of time. So just put in how many you want, and it'll put it into your cart. Right. And again, that's only for hot drinks and iced drinks. So frozen drinks don't have those options. Smoothies don't have those options, and hot chocolate does not have those options. Okay. So let's go ahead. We're going to add, we're going to add an iced coffee in. We want 1 pump of vanilla. We want 2 extra shots of espresso, and we're going to get 3 of these. Now, it does say that syrups are 25% or 25 cents extra per pump, and additional espresso shots are $1.50 extra per shot with a maximum of 20. Now we did the same thing here with these input boxes as we did with the registration boxes, in that you can only put in numbers. So as much as I mash these other keys, it will only allow me to put in numbers. Additionally, if I have numbers less than 0, right? Say I have, so I can't even put in the negative, so that doesn't matter. I'd forgotten about that. So we are controlling for what people are putting in here, in addition to making sure that the SQL statements are sanitized. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and add these to my cart. Where'd my mouse go? There we go. And now we can see it's in my cart, and it does sort things by your item, its size, its category, and then any options that you have. So we have 1 extra shot of syrup, and 2 extra or 1 extra pump of syrup, and 2 shots of espresso. And then it gives us the subtotal for all your options, and then the quantity, your total quantity of that particular item. So we have $5.75 plus $3 plus 25 cents. That's going to give us up to $9, and then times 3 is 27. So that works out really nicely. And if we go back, let's say I want to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do a medium coffee, but now it's just going to be sugar, whereas everything else we're going to keep the same. And as you can see, it does differentiate between sweet and low and sugar. If I clear my cart, it just empties the cart. Now, for people who are logged in, your cart will be saved. Guest carts will not be saved between sessions, right? So let's take a look at that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to, well, you know what? Let's do it with cappuccino, just to show that we are doing something different. I'll put 3 cappuccinos in my cart. All right, so they're in my cart. I'm going to log out, and now you can see my cart is empty because I'm now a guest. I'm not logged in. Let me log in. And there's my cart again. So the carts are persistent for logged in accounts. And then finally, we can remove individual items if we want to. And then I click checkout. So on the checkout page, it shows me what items I ordered, the subtotals, and the totals. It also gives me a thank you message with my account name. It gives me the order number and the order date. Finally, these reduce the inventory whenever we order an item. So we'll see how that works. So this brewed coffee, small. We're going to add a small brewed coffee, and that is hot drinks. So we're going to add this, hot drinks. So we're going to add this coffee. Very simple, just one coffee. So now we can see that the inventory is 0. And when we have inventories of 0, going back to the menu, you can now see this is out of stock, and we can't even do anything with it. It doesn't let us do add to cart or anything. So now this brewed coffee is out of stock. And I'm going to update this so that I can show you something else. I'm going to put it back to 1. So now we have one again. So let's say I want to order 2, but I only have 1 in stock. I'm going to get an error message that says basically we don't have enough to fulfill your entire order. So we've given you what we have. And as you can see, that's exactly what happened. And the inventory is not fully updated until checkout is pressed. So even though I put something in my cart, it's not ordered yet. So technically I still have it in my inventory. Okay. And finally, these links don't really go anything. They don't go anywhere. These are just links that we put in to make our footer seem to look more legitimate, because we really wanted it to look good. These links work, but they just take you to the main pages of the websites. So they work, but they don't do anything. And we're back. Okay, so now the updated weekly sales. We can see that if we don't have any sales for a particular item, it gives us no sales. If we have a sale, it'll give us this, and then it'll keep track of that item for the rest of the week. It does give us the totals for each day. So on Tuesday we just sold 1 latte, which was $6, or maybe it was 2. I can't remember it. I think it's just 1. So that's $6. So we just had $6 for Tuesday. Not doing very well. Still better than Monday though. Monday we didn't sell anything. And it also keeps track of items across the week. So we have only sold 1 small brewed coffee so far. That's just $5. So a total of $5 for the brewed coffees. And we sold, a couple of cappuccinos on today. Now here's the fun thing. If I, let's see, it was a small coffee. So now I'm going to do, first I'm going to do a medium coffee. We're going to buy 10 medium coffees. Quite a lot, right? We're going to buy 10 medium coffees. That's $55. So now we can see that medium coffee has been added in to our weekly sales. Not only that, but it auto-populates these fields. Right? Let's say we want to add a small latte. So currently, we haven't sold any lattes for today. Right? Let's change that. Small latte, we're going to make that 1. Small latte. Check out. So now it gives us $6, right? So we've done fairly well for today. Wednesday we're looking pretty good. Let's say I want to do 2 more lattes. My mouse will work. Work, mouse. I will break you. Not playing around. Okay. So we just did 2 coffees. Now $6 each. 2, $12 plus 6, $18. So these fields automatically update in real time. Now you still have to refresh the page to get the updates, but they update in real time because this is all dynamic and it's based on the database. So then we have our final total for both all the products and the week. And as we go through the rest of this week, these fields will automatically populate. If we have new items that are purchased, they will be added and they will automatically populate. Alright, so that is our website. That is just about everything that we have. The only thing that we really wanted to do, but that we never had time, because the class ended before we got there, was, where's my mouse? I swear to God I'm going to break you. We wanted to get dynamic pictures, and we just did not have time to do that. So we have these static pictures. It's just the same thing. But that would have been the next step for us. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to look at is the database. And I'm not going to show you, all the tables and everything, but I'm not going to go into all the nitty-gritty, but we are going to look at the diagram. So this is our database. The side combo is really where we pull from when we're displaying our menu. It uses a bunch of joins to get all this product information. And the weekly sales also is a multi-to-multi or many-to-many combo table. And that's what we use to display both the sizes and the products as well as the days. Creamers, syrups, and sweeteners, excuse me, my voice is going. These are not attached to anything, so they don't have any relationships to anything else. Customers and employees both pull from the first names and the usernames tables. And the order history pulls from the orders table, which is really just to get the order date and the order ID. And the data in the order history is inserted from the checkout, but those are otherwise not related. We don't do anything with them other than that. They just insert from one table into another, so there's no actual relationship there. And then checkout and shopping cart both do not have relationships with anything because those tables are relatively temporary. A checkout especially is extremely temporary. Basically you put stuff from the shopping cart into the checkout, and then once it's displayed on the website, the checkout is emptied and the shopping cart is emptied for that particular account and or session if it's not a user account. Right? And that's pretty much it. It seems complicated. There's probably a lot going on here that a professional database admin would say, hey, this is probably an issue, like I wouldn't do it this way, I would do it that way. I've tried to get these as normalized as possible or as close as possible to third form normalization. I think for the most part I did okay, especially here and here. I think those are pretty good, and I think these are pretty good. But everything else is not really too related, I think. I'm not a database engineer or an administrator, but I did the best that I could, and it works. Hopefully it's safe. So that's our database. Alright everybody, I'm going to leave it off there. Please, again, feel free to show this video to potential employers or current employers if you're looking for a promotion or if you're looking for just lateral move or anything like that for any reason. This is going to be a public video. Thank you very much.